Year 5, welcome back. Okay, we're looking at factors and multiples again. All right, so we're following on from session 15. Now, what does factor mean, remember? Okay, so there's loads of different ways of thinking about it, a factor of a number. All right, so say we just choose... Okay, well, let's just look at this number here. I won't give you the answer. Let's just look at that 26, all right? So the factors of 26 are all the numbers that 26 divides by to give you a whole number answer. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is what numbers can I count up in and land on 26? And then the third way to think about it would be what times tables is 26 an answer in? All right, but that's all the times tables, so not just up to 10 times table. Okay, so whatever way you want to think of it, when I'm kind of learning about factors, I sometimes like to think about, well, let's count up in ones. Do I land on 26? Yes. Let's count up in twos. Do I land on 26? Yes. That's the way I like to do it. All right? So that's what a factor is. Factors are either all the numbers that you can count up in to land on your chosen number, or all the numbers that you can divide your chosen number by to leave a whole number answer. All right, so what I want you to do now is I want you to pause here, and I want you to work out all the factors of 26. And once you've done that, all the factors of 40. All right, and press play when you're ready to go through the answers. All right then, so 26 has got 4 factors, and they are 1, 2, 13. 13 is half of 26. Once I get half, I can go straight to the number itself. And remember, we spoke about factor pairs yesterday, so the pairs would be 1 and 26, and it would be 2 and 13, because you multiply the pairs together to get the number. Okay, so the factors of 40, it's got 7 factors. Is it 7? So yeah, so they are 1, 2, 4, 8, 10, 20, 40, and there's one I've missed out, apologies, 5. Okay, I knew there was one I'd missed out. So again, if we think about pairs of factors for 40, it would be 1 and 40, because multiply those together you get 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, and 5 and 8. Okay, now let's come back to multiples now. So we're introducing, whenever we talk about factors, we'll talk about multiples as well. It's just the way it is in maths, okay? Now again, I googled the definition for multiples. Multiples are a sequence of products using the same base number multiplied by different numbers. Now to me, that doesn't make it clear. I've put here any clearer. Okay, my definition is multiples are the numbers that you land on when you count up in a certain number. So I've put underneath here the multiples of 8. So all you've got to think of in multiples are your times tables. So if you were to count up in 8s, yeah, you go 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so the multiples of 8 is basically an infinite number, because you could keep going up and up in 8s, couldn't you? All right, the factors of 8, remember, are those numbers that you can either divide 8 by to give you a whole number answer, or the numbers you can count up in and land on 8. So the factors of 8 are those numbers. They're the only factors 8 has. It has 4, it's fixed. But the multiples of 8 aren't fixed, because here there's an infinite amount of numbers, aren't there, if you count up in 8s. All right, so that's one way of remembering it. Factors, there's only a certain finite amount of for each number. Multiples, that you can go on and on and on. All right, so now it's your turn. So I've given you 3 problems. You can see here, I've asked you to find 3 multiples of 12 less than 100, 2 multiples of 5 greater than 50, 2 multiples of 25 in between 200 and 300. So I want you to pause now, have a think about these, okay, and press play when you're ready to go through the answers, please. Okay, fab. So 3 multiples of 12 less than 100. So you just got to think about your 12 times table. So 3 multiples of 12, you could have had these 48, 60, 72, 84, 90. They are all multiples of 12 less than 100. All right, so you just had to write down 3 of those. 2 multiples of 5 greater than 50. All right, well, there was an infinite number of answers, so I can't go through them all, but whichever numbers you wrote down, if they end in a 0 or a 5, then you're right, because they must be multiples of 5. Okay, so I would have kept it simple, and I would have just gone 55 and 60. You could have done 155 and 160. You could have done 455 and 760. Okay, you could have had an infinite amount of answers there. Right, 2 multiples of 25 in between 200 and 300. So if you're counting up in 25s, 25, 50, 7, yeah, all the way, you land on 200. But that can't be the answer because it has to be between 200 and 300. So it has to be greater than 200 and less than 300. So you could have had 225, you could have had 250, or you could have had 275. So you could have had any 2 of those 3. All right, so well done if you got those right. And we're going to carry on with it in tomorrow's lesson.